Hey guys, it's me again. Okay, today I'm a tad bit upset about people who really don't believe in global climate change, or who don't think it's caused by humans. Well, I'll handle the first group first. Last night, on my way home from getting these prescription glasses, I I saw a bright glowing road sign that said, well, I don't remember the exact wording, but essentially it said, it's predicted that tomorrow will be a bad air day. We suggest you carpool and stay inside. And I'd never seen those signs before. So I talked to some of my friends, and they told me that those signs go on like pretty regularly because we have bad air days a lot because our city here is in a basin. It's basically in a big bowl where all the pollutants can just accumulate every once in a while. And that means that if I were to go outside and walk around for a few hours, just walk, not even like go out for a jog, but just walk around, I could shorten my lifespan by a few years. Or maybe even like, if I had a certain condition, if I had asthma, I could have an asthma attack in the middle of the street or sidewalk. And that's not climate, well, that's pollution. I guess it's not really a change in climate. But also, and these pollutants are being spread faster because it's hot outside. Like if you study physics, even just a little bit, you'll know that heat speeds up reactions, speeds up the motion of particles, it speeds up a lot of stuff, which is expanding the gas, the pollutants, dispersing it throughout the entire basin and a little over the sides, making it incredibly unsafe to go outside, well, for long periods of time. The elderly are recommended to not go outdoors, and the very young are recommended to just not go outdoors at all. Other people are recommended to stay in their homes unless absolutely necessary. And if you drive, you should carpool to keep this from happening tomorrow. This sounds like something out of a science fiction novel. Like Isaac Asimov might write some, or might have written something about, I don't know, sulfuric acid tornadoes coming in and warning, warning, you got to get back to the shelters because bad weather, it's not going to be safe outside. We recommend you carpool and stay inside at all costs. That's not something that you would think would happen in a real world. Neither are the forest fires going on all around the world. This didn't happen a few years ago. Australia did not have forest fires that surrounded cities a few years ago. California, Arizona, Colorado, California did have forest fires, which were natural and fine, and they were supposed to happen to keep the cycle going in the ecosystem. But these are killing the soil. The fires that are going on in California, they pretty much sterilize the soil. They don't replenish it because they burn the ground, not just the trees and other plants. Then in Colorado is not known for forest fires. And this year, there have been enormous fires there. So many that people have been told to stay out of Colorado, like the entire state, essentially. Or hotels have said you can't stay here, you're in great danger. After somebody was coming from booking their reservation months in advance, and then they got there and there's a forest fire coming down towards the hotel. Have you guys seen the footage? of somebody standing on the top of a two-story building in Australia with their video camera pointed out towards the forest fire. It looks like a scene from 2012, except it's real. And the skies are bright red. The smoke is just reflecting the glow from the fire, and it looks like just pillars of burning ash, which it might be. It probably is. Well, for the first few feet. Past that, it's probably just reflection and refraction doing all the work. But that didn't used to happen. Also, the global climate average temperature, just in the past 50 years, has raised 0.8 degrees Celsius. Now, that doesn't sound like much. I mean, a lot of people say that, that's nothing. It's not even a full degree Celsius. I mean, 1 degree Celsius is it could maybe be the difference between short shorts and shorts that go down to your knees. But it's different when it comes to global average climates. Because global average, that means that it's taking all temperatures from all climates in all times of the year, averaging them all together, which means that we've got extreme colds, which aren't quite as extreme as the extreme heat. And scientists estimate, and this is not a guess, I hate it when people call it a guess. Scientists estimate that within the next however many years, 30 to 100. That's the range I've heard because I've looked at data from different times, and the more recent it is, the less time we have. But in 30 to 100 years, the average global temperature can raise up to 6 degrees Celsius, pretty much turning Earth into another Mars, or worse yet, another Venus, where our atmosphere would be made of poison, literally poison, not like, oh, it's made of carbon dioxide, which is something that we breathe out, and if we breathe in too much, we die of asphyxiation. It's literal poison. And acid. It's like you walk outside and in 5 minutes you're just dissolved on the ground. It's a really low pH acid because it will burn you. Sulfuric acid is what the atmosphere is the large majority of Venus's atmosphere. Every time a space program tries to send a probe to Venus, it melts. One made it to the ground, just one, and that one melted 20 minutes after it hit the ground. It got 20 minutes of video. Now you may want to double check me on that, because I'm not claiming to know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was 20 minutes. Do your research. Tell me, because I need to know. Well, don't need to. I would like to know. So people who think that there's not climate change at all are blind, figuratively blind. Some of them might be literally blind, but in this sense, it's figurative. And if you can't see the evidence right in front of your face, and you can't see the science telling you that the globe is getting hotter, what? Totally forgot where I was going with that sentence, but just, if you can't see the evidence, it's just like everything else I've talked about, I've been a bit upset about. You can't see the evidence, don't argue. And definitely don't start making decisions based on a lack of evidence. No, that sounded really bad. Don't start making decisions that could change the world based on a lack of evidence. No, that's still a bad way of putting it. Because atheists do that, and it's fine. Don't, okay, most people who look at the evidence and still say there is no global warming, there is no global climate change, there is no whatever other people call it, and still, and they just look at the evidence and say it's not there, they will, that's belief. And they make their decisions based on the belief that nothing is wrong with the global climate. And that's not an okay thing to use to make important decisions. Faith is not a decision maker outside of your own mind. You cannot push your opinions onto other people and use that to make important decisions. There. I just said the same thing 3 ways, maybe more. More evidence for global warming. The temperature today is 103 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. That would be terrible if that were Celsius. Not too long ago, within my lifetime, and my lifetime is pretty short, within my lifetime, a high temperature for June was 85. 85. I mean, maybe in July we'd get higher temperatures, but 85 was pretty much the highest point we got in June. Now, I mean, it's 103 today, and it's going to get hotter in July. And people say there's no global warming. And a lot of people just use like a freak snow as global warming, as evidence for global warming. Yeah, we get 6 inches of snow one day, then it's 80 degrees the next, in winter. I mean, during the time of year that was supposed to be winter here, it averaged, I mean, no, not average, it maxed out at 80 degrees. We got 80-degree winter. It's like fall never ended. I mean, we had summer, 2 falls, then back to spring. Where did winter go? There was almost no snow this year. Nothing. No, nothing that you could call school on, nothing that you could get out of work for. Just, there was snow on some of the colder days, but not much. I mean, the first year I was here, there were 3 feet of snow in like over the course of just a couple days. 3 feet of snow. This year, you can't even measure it in inches because there's so many holes in it. Or couldn't, past tense, I guess. Then people say it's not humans' fault. Look at a carbon-burning plant. That's natural gas, that's coal, that's anything that uses petroleum. Look at it and tell me that doesn't look nasty to have black or even white clouds spewing out of something. Tell me it doesn't look nasty to see those clouds spewing, clouds of smoke and soot and ash spewing from the tops of towers. And don't talk to me about clean coal. Clean coal is an idea that was never implemented. It was people who supported it. I mean, it sounds like a great idea. Nobody ever used it. It didn't happen. Clean coal never came into existence. It was never implemented. It just thought up, put on paper, here's what we could do. It's going to cost too much, so let's just burn the coal. We dug death out of the ground. We dug dead plants and animals from millions of years ago. Then we burned it, and we expect that we're not going to get death up here. What? It's like we burn death, we release death into the air that we breathe, and we get death. We're burning the same coal, and also we're burning the same coal that killed the dinosaurs, not dinosaurs, some other mass extinction. Look that up for me, scientists. Scientists in the audience, because I know there are just so many of you. But we're burning the same carbon that caused one of the major mass extinctions in the history of life. Because that was released into the air, and then it was sucked into the ecosystem over a long period of time. Ecosystem healed, then it died, then it became the oil and coal reserves that we know of today. See the connection? We're burning that, and that was the same carbon that killed many different, it sent many different species into extinction. We couldn't name them all because they were very primitive species, and it's not easy finding a fossil. Okay, so climate change. That's what I'm a tad bit upset about today.